Okay, so we're going to take notes today on 45, 45, 90 triangles. So I highly recommend that you label your notes 45, 45, 90 triangles. And you write the date, 9/26. Okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is they're right triangles, right? But they're 45, 45, 90. So if I have two angles that are the same for a right triangle, then it has to be an isosceles triangle, which means these two sides are the same length. So I'm going to call them X for right now and show you how I find this formula for 45, 45, 90 triangles so that it's quicker than Pythagorean theorem. Okay? And it already puts it in radical form for us, so you don't have to figure it out. All right. So Pythagorean theorem means that I'm going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? And in this case, we know a is x and b is x. Instead of putting c squared, I'm going to put a question mark because we want to know what that is going to be because we're trying to find a formula. Everybody with me so far?
Yes, ma'am.
We can, if we're having trouble seeing, we can always turn off the lights. Thanks, Q. Okay, what is x squared plus x squared?
45 squared plus 45.
Nope. What is x squared plus x squared? Nope.
X to the second power.
2x squared. Remember, when you add radicals, you do not add, when you add x, you don't add exponents together when you're adding terms. You just add how many there are. Okay, so how am I going to get rid of that little squared? Matt, move back to your seat right now. I'm done. Okay, how do I get rid of it? I take a square root. Yep. Okay, so can I find the square root of 2? Does it simplify any more than the square root of 2? No. But what is x squared going to be? X. So this tells me from Pythagorean theorem, this is how I found, please don't talk, this is being recorded and I'm trying to do this right now. From Pythagorean theorem, I found that this was x, square root 2 was my answer. Okay, so it's just kind of a formula. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use this formula by giving you examples. So here is another 45, 45, 90 triangle. But I'm telling you this side right here is 5. How am I going to find the other two sides? Which side matches 5? The slanted one or the one below?
Below.
Okay, and what is my hypotenuse or the slanted one going to be? Now look, I took x. X is the same for both of these. And instead of x square root 2, I'm going to replace x with my number. What's my number?
5.
So it's just going to be 5 square root 2. That's the answer. See how that's easier than Pythagorean theorem? It's quicker at least. Okay, we're going to do another one. I'm going to show you, I know I'm doing this fast, but I will go answer questions before you guys go. All right. So here is 6 square root 2. If my hypotenuse is 6 square root 2, what are both my legs going to be? 6, that's it. How are we feeling? And that's what we're going to do right now to make it a little harder. Okay. It's just a little bit harder though. So we've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle again. But this time, I'm going to tell you that the hypotenuse is 10. Uh-oh. There's no square root 2 there, right? So what am I going to do to figure it out? So we know that 10 is equal to, in my formula, x square root 2, right? So how do I get rid of the square root 2? What is x doing to square root 2? It's being multiplied, so I'm going to have to divide. Okay, so hold on. X is going to equal 10 over the square root of 2. Let me tell you, in mathematics, you can't have a square root 2 on the bottom. Anybody know how to get that off from the bottom? We're going to multiply the top and bottom by the square root 2. When those cancel, I'm going to end up with 10 square root 2. What's 2 times 2, guys?
4.
What's the square root of 4? So you just put a 2 over it? Right? Everybody see what I did? I got 10 square root 2, and this was over the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2, but I just did it in my head. All right, what's 10 divided by 2? 5. So 5 square root 2. So both these sides are 5 square root 2. Okay, as we get quicker on this, we'll know that we're going to multiply the square root 2 on the top and bottom. So it's just going to be whatever the number is, square root 2 over 2. It's just going to be a shortcut. Okay, and then we'll know if these are both even, we can divide it. That's the whole thing. We're done. Okay, so that is your notes for today. Your homework is based on this, so please make sure you have that. I am going to stop recording, and we're going to do origami.